Open World Chat. We're back for another instance, as they would say if we were an application. I'm John Odom, your host. I'm here with Mark Card. Mark, tell us how you're doing.
I'm doing okay. How about you, John?
I'm not bad. It's my birthday, so, you know, life is what it is. I was going to say good, but I'm getting awfully old, so I don't know that that's such a good thing.
Nah.
I have mortality issues.
Well,
What can I say?
you do know that people who constantly refer to themselves as old will actually appear and feel older than they really are.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's more like the other people are in denial. You know what I mean?
Mm. I'm talking about actual scientific evidence.
Actual scientific evidence,
Actual scientific evidence.
the science of being too old. Wow.
The science of making yourself older than you are.
Oldology, elderology. Ooh, there you go.
How
That's
about gerontology?
Oh, well, there's that, I guess. All right. All right, we'll go with that one. Oh
Whichever
well.
one.
So today we're gonna have fun with movies as we often do. But we're going to talk about movies. Well, actually, Mark, why don't I let you lead it in? This was your idea.
Yes. Well, this is very specifically linked to a certain thing I was thinking of. I was watching on YouTube, as one does, all of the Siskel and Ebert reviews of every Star Trek movie that was released when they were working before Gene Siskel died and then Ebert got sick. And I was particularly interested in the review of Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan because here's the thing. If you're going to be honest, you have to admit that the first Star Trek movie was a pretty big disappointment. I mean, if you saw it originally, the first time it came out, everybody was super, hyped over it. And then it just kind of seemed to fall flat. Everybody was glad to have Star Trek on the big screen finally, but it just wasn't what you thought it was going to be.
I actually loved it. I went to see it like 4 or 5 times. I'm the only one.
But anyway, I don't think my experience is unique.
No,
Uh,
far from it.
so I just kept thinking about how amazing Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan was when it finally came out. And yeah, we heard lots of scuttlebutt, including the part about, 40-year-old spoiler, almost 50-year-old spoiler now, Spock was dead. And we
Hero.
all heard that, but it wasn't the same. So I just kept thinking to myself, I would really like to be able to relive that moment. What it was like to have this, and I still think it's the best Star Trek movie ever, period, end of sentence. You'll never convince me otherwise until something better comes out.
Yeah, I tend to agree.
That this is the best and probably will be the best ever Star Trek movie ever made.
Probably.
And just, I mean, it was just a revelation. It was, yeah, this is what Star Trek is supposed to be like in general, not just on the big screen, but kind of when you have the platonic ideal in your head of what Star Trek should be.
Mm.
And I wanted to relive that experience for the first time ever. And then, as I was thinking about this topic today, so that's just kind of a one category about or one kind of movie you'd want to relive seeing for the first time ever. And then I thought today, as I was thinking about this, I thought, what's the first Star Trek episode you remember watching?
Oh, what an interesting question.
And so I kind of want to relive that too, but for a different reason. I would like to relive that because I don't remember what episode it was. I really don't. Now, see, the thing for me is the original series Star Trek ran between, for me, the ages of 3 and 6.
Mm.
So when I was 6, I vaguely remember people talking about Star Trek, but down here in Texas, the kids called it Star Trek.
Yeah, I heard that too. Sometimes I heard Star Trek.
I didn't hear that one, but that makes more sense than Star Trek.
It's true.
And so I know I didn't watch it when I was younger. I heard people talking about it when I was 6, but I had no idea what it was. And I really came to Star Trek kind of late, really, for a lot of people, even people my age. I didn't start watching it till I was in the seventh or eighth grade. So, and that's when I really kind of got hooked on it,
Hmm.
was then. But I cannot tell you what my first episode was. And I kind of would like to relive that experience so I could remember not just the feeling of what it was like to see Star Trek for the first time, but also what it was like to which episode it was, to kind of just, you know, orient myself into the lifelong obsession that is Star Trek. And I've been thinking a lot about Star Trek lately because I'm finally catching up. Uh, I found I had access to Paramount Plus through my cable package, and which is, obsolete now, but I still think cable is superior to streaming because now streaming is the same thing. You have to subscribe to 900 different, streaming services. And
Right.
anyway, so I've been kind of doing a catching up to, I've been watching Discovery. So I've been thinking a lot about Star Trek. And I thought, these two were kind of the genesis, if you'll uh,
Hmm.
excuse the pun, of this whole topic. Because I've heard people talk about stuff like this before, but it was the whole Star Trek 2 Wrath of Khan experience, which kind of uh, coalesced around my thinking around this.
Hmm.
So it's kind of cool because it's such a great movie. I mean, the writing is good. This is the best you'll ever see a now less and less sane William Shatner act. He's really good in this movie.
He is.
And I mean, he only overacts when the scene calls for it. And then
Right.
Leonard Nimoy is freaking brilliant in this movie. Uh, if you ever had any doubts after seeing Star Trek 2, Leonard Nimoy is the only person who ever has played Spock properly.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
I think there are good other actors. I think the current guy playing Spock in Strange New Worlds is really good too.
Really, I find him a little disappointing, but that's
Well,
yeah.
he's a
Anyways,
lot more nuanced than you might think he should be, but I like him. I like him. I think he's good.
really,
Also,
I think
he has to deal with what the writers are doing with Spock.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I find him kind of one note, though, honestly, a little different than the nuance. So maybe I need to look more closely.
Well, he's particularly good in in the episodes like the episode where he is, and I won't spoil it completely, but he is converted to one of the two halves of his sides.
Oh, yeah.
Um, I think he really knocks that part of playing Spock out of the park.
Yeah. No, he did a better job in that. And I don't want to digress too much, but
No.
I think I think that showed the part of the problem I have with his performance overall is that he got into a human state and he was more comfortable as an actor. He could play it with more range because humans have more range.
Oh
But I
yeah,
don't think he plays a Vulcan with any range. I think he's one note. And you look at Leonard Nimoy, he had a swagger to him. There was a range there that,
well, what I love about Leonard Nimoy is uh, Spock with Leonard Nimoy is properly arrogant.
right, right. Well, that's that swagger. Yeah.
Yeah, he is properly arrogant. He is smarter than you. He's better than you, and he knows it, and he's not afraid to show it to you.
And he doesn't want to admit that he has enough of a sense of humor. He's making fun of you.
Hmm.
Plenty.
Oh yeah, he is definitely mocking you
Yes.
in the in the most possible way a Vulcan could mock you. I mean, to
Yes.
mock someone, you have to have disgust for them. All right. So, but that's kind of the genesis for me. The movie is this is one of the movies I would call perfect. I don't think there's anything wrong with this movie at all. I think you would be hard pressed to eliminate any particular scene of this movie and have it still be the same movie.
Yeah, I think you're right. And I
And
think the topic here that you've picked is it, one of the points we should make too is that while there's going to be some of our favorite movies on the list, inevitably, this isn't, when I thought about it, this wasn't a list of my favorite movies. I mean, a lot of movies I love, I somehow wasn't struck by that initial experience. Something like Alien within the genre. I had a great time when I first saw it, but it doesn't strike me as a movie where I have to have that first initial experience again.
yeah,
I just thought it was a really good movie. Outside of genre, William Shatner made me think of so odd movie to think of with William Shatner, but like Judgment in Nuremberg, which
yeah,
blows me away. But there's no first experience moment.
yeah. Well, I just think it's something fun to think about.
Yeah,
Um, and as most of our topics reveal more about us than it does about the actual topic, you're
that's
going to find
true.
out a lot about what we like about genre and movies. And the thing is, I wanted to fight you, but I think you're right on this. I think there are a lot of non-genre movies that fall into this category too, but let's try to stick to the focus of our podcast.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I mean, I could have come up with a lot more myself, but yeah, it seemed like we should stick with the geek thing for now, lest we go too far afield, lest we have a 2 or 3 hour
Right.
podcast episode.
Well, we can break this up into different kinds of episodes.
So I'll throw one out there for you. Like I say, most of the ones I have are not necessarily my
Right.
favorite movies, but the experience of initially seeing them was really strong. And so this one I'm going to lead with. It's easy because it is one of my favorite
Right.
movies, and that's the Fellowship of the Ring. Just the simple awe I had at the vision of the manifestation of this series so near and dear to me on the screen and making it real. It was awe. And it was a first experience I would love to have again. I just sat there in my seat, slack-jawed and wow. I loved it.
Yeah, I don't have the same emotional response that people did to Lord of the Rings. I thought it was great. I think it's the only adaptation that will ever succeed of Lord of the Rings in the long term. But I just wasn't so uh emotionally invested, I guess.
Yeah, that's come up before. That's really interesting. I mean, each to their own, obviously, but I'm definitely one of the hordes of devotees, to be sure.
Well, I love the books
Hmm.
more than the movies, and like I said, I think it's probably the most uh powerful, most accurate, most uh loyal as possible to the original source material. But I just don't have the same response that other people do.
Yeah. Well, it's never going to be remade again after that. I think that series is a mic drop.
Yeah,
And
you underestimate the greediness of Hollywood.
yeah, well, you're probably right.
So yeah, that's the problem there. But anyway, yeah, Lord of the Rings has that emotional response for a lot of people, and I understand that. It's just not with me.
Mhm.
And I thought about putting that on the list, but I didn't. And probably for that reason. So I'm sorry. I can hear the collective sigh of disappointment for my lack of for to put it in D&D terms, my lack of attunement with the Lord of the Rings movies. But I don't know, maybe the point of the Lord of the Rings movement is that you should be careful what magical items you attune with.
Yeah, okay. It's true. All right.
So,
Well, what bounced into your head other than, I mean, I agree with you on Wrath of Khan totally. For me, it was the is Spock gonna die? Isn't or is he or isn't he? And that was the rumor around, and I decided going in that if he died, I was going to hate it, and if he didn't, I was going to love it. And he died, and I loved it. So just throwing that out there. But given that that's on both of our lists, and Fellowship is not, what you got for me?
Okay, well, let's just swing this direction. Night of the Living Dead.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, part of that is the circumstances under which I saw the movie. So this is the thing. So there's a lot of different reasons why I would want to relive these movies, but this goes back to a specific time and place and context of my youth. So my best friend in high school, he belonged to a church that was very active in trying to recruit people to their youth group. I mean, they would put ads in the school paper, and those ads would always include the most attractive people in school who went to that church,
Oh,
and
right.
so on and so forth. And so he asked me to go with him Halloween night to see Night of the Living Dead with his church group. Oh, I'd never seen Night of the Living Dead. This was in 1979, the fall of 1979,
With his
and
church group.
the fall of 1979 at his church group. And this was the beginning of my period of realizing that horror movies are mostly just straight up comedies. So this was my laughing in horror movies kind of moment.
Ah, I got you.
So, which is kind of funny because we're going to talk about another movie that occurred this year, but we're going to do that later. So the thing is, we got into the movie and I'm watching the movie and it's pretty gripping and it's pretty funny. But if you know the movie Night of the Living Dead, you know there's the part where they're going to try to go out, grab the truck, fill it up with gasoline, and escape, right? And
Sure.
that's where the human plans all go completely awry.
Right. And you know that's not going to go well. Yeah.
And it doesn't go well.
More or
And
less the way you expect it's not going to go well.
right,
Yeah.
the truck explodes into flames,
Yeah.
and the zombies get everyone who went out to get to the truck. And then comes the ritual eating of the entrails of the victims. When this scene pops up, I just burst out laughing.
Uh,
And
uh,
it wasn't one of those things where, sometimes in scary movies, people react in a way which is, kind of stranger than you think. They start laughing maniacally at a scene of unspeakable horror. This was not a scene of unspeakable horror. This was pure comedy gold. And
it's
I am laughing hysterically out loud at this scene. And it's in the gym of a community center. So it's not a very big venue. And I can't hide what I'm doing and and what's happening. And so I'm sure many of those people were very confused about why I was laughing crazily at this horror movie, obvious horror movie. So yeah, that's
I had that
that was
experience
me,
once.
and I would love to experience that sense of pure joy of just being tickled by this horror movie, and then the kind of rebellious feeling about, yeah, I'm laughing at this. I don't care if you think I'm a freak. It's hilarious. So yeah,
Had that experience one time when my wife and I went to see Face Off,
yeah.
and the point where the operation's happening, and they just sort of pull off the whole face with this machine with sort of a schmeck, like you're peeling bologna off linoleum or something, and we just lost it and cracked up, and we could just feel the annoyance of the rest of the theater. That's a great feeling, isn't it?
No, it really is. And I just really love the fact that there was this kind of prim and proper group who were just horrified at my reaction to that movie. I was like, yeah, this is just too funny not to laugh at.
Oh man. Well, I've got, I mean, you talk about things you really like in a context like this, you're going to have some reruns. And I've got three reruns in here, and I'm going to go ahead and get them over with. So my next one is, Fellowship of the Ring was a rerun. But I'm going to go back to a regular of mine, and that's talk about the Avatar, The Last Airbender series,
Sure.
made for kids and to bring in adults. I just think it was, in some ways, the perfect series. It managed that balance in a way that, I can't believe it brought me in the way it brought me in, the way it was so, in a lot of ways, so Nickelodeon. But it did, it worked. And I cared about the characters and there was drama. And that whole last season was all a build-up to some final confrontations.
Yeah.
Really, to an extent, the whole series was. So the buildup was extreme. The buildup was too much. It
Yeah.
was something that couldn't be satisfied. The expectations were set too high for them to be matched. You knew that going in, but you were still amped up for it. And by God, did it not just meet those expectations, but exceed them? And that I haven't had quite that experience before. I've had the experience of high expectations that I've enjoyed, but they always come out a little short. I've never had one exceed them like that when the expectations were so high. So
Right.
that was just a gripping experience for me. I love that series. It's probably one of my favorite TV series of all time, but they did not let you down at the end. And that's something you don't usually experience. And I would love to experience that again.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be, yeah, I haven't experienced that because I haven't watched Avatar, but
Right.
and I have difficulty with anime. There
Hmm.
are a couple of things I really like, but in general, I have difficulty. It's strange. It's a strange aesthetic for me,
Yeah.
and I will freely admit that's my hang up, not anybody else's.
Well, Avatar's kind of fake anime,
Yeah,
anime-esque, so it might be easier on you, but it's still anime enough that if that style bugs you, it's gonna bug you.
I will tell you what my first experience with anime was, and I think it was a lot of people's first experience. It was again, we're going to go back to my senior year in high school. Um, my senior year in high school, we had maybe it was my junior year. I can't remember if it was 78 or 79. What do they call it in English? It's the whole one about the Yamato.
Oh, um, 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 God, it's Yamato's in the name.
That's the name of the ship.
Yeah, but I think it's in the name of the series
It
too.
might be.
Um,
Here
Damn
we
it if
are
I don't
again,
want to keep
again.
saying Robotech, and it's not Robotech at all. It's just
Space
that I'm
Battleship
thinking of Robotech.
Yamato.
Yeah, okay.
But that's not what it was called for the English release.
Mm.
It was called Star Blazers.
Oh, I don't remember that.
And that was on every day at 3 o'clock on one of those TV stations that only showed syndicated programs.
Hmm.
And I would get home from school, and my brother and my mom and I would all watch this show. And it was gripping. It really held your attention. But that's really the extent of my love for anime was that one.
Not even Akira, huh? That's
No, I not because I haven't watched Akira all the way through. I told you that.
yeah, all right.
I haven't seen it all the way through. So I have seen some
Well,
other stuff, but in general, it's not. It's just not been a category that's grabbed me.
I
Uh,
can recommend a couple to you if it ever comes down to it.
yeah, we'll do that, but the
Yeah,
problem then is finding it. I'm not going to subscribe anywhere to
no
watch stuff.
Crunchyroll.
Oh, isn't that subscription only?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. I have enough subscription services. I'm not one of these people that's going to go out and uh, uh, subscribe to everything possible because I just don't have that kind of money.
Mhm.
It's getting ridiculous now.
It is.
The
It's
genius of
ridiculous.
Netflix before it went to uh, the model it has now, where they all they want to do is make original content, was you could find some really great, really obscure, really interesting movies just by scrolling through what they offer. You can't really do that anymore. You are overwhelmed by lots of mediocre at best content,
Yeah, it's about separating the wheat from the chaff, that's for sure.
and there's too much work for that.
Life is too short. We're old. This takes us back. We've come full circle.
I don't think
Mortality
it's
lurks.
I
We
don't
don't
think
have
it's
time.
I don't think it's because I'm old. I think it's because I'm more discerning about what programming I watch now. All
Definitely
right, what do you got
different.
next?
Um, Oh, wasn't it your turn?
Oh, you're right. Let's continue with the zombie theme. This is a TV show, not necessarily a movie.
Hmm.
But that first episode of The Walking Dead,
Yeah.
holy cow. How could you not just be uh completely enamored of that?
Hmm.
It was just, I mean, okay, so I will admit here that had been looking at or following the progress of the release of The Walking Dead through that. I didn't even know if it's still active anymore. The website ain'titcool.com.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I
I
think it
used to
is still
track a
there.
lot of stuff through that website.
Yeah, I used to spend a lot of time there too.
And
Can't remember
I
the guy's
went
name.
I would check every day. What's the status of The Walking Dead? This sounds great. I didn't have any familiarity with the comics. And I was just going, I tracked it from day to day to day to day. And when
Hmm.
it finally came out, like you said about exceeding expectations, the first episode of that show establishes so much of what's going to happen through the entire run. It's perfect. It's
Hmm.
perfect. And this is one of those pieces of television that you just wish you could relive a second time for the first time.
Yeah, that's an expectations one for sure. Yeah, I get
My
you.
expectations were overwhelmed with that, and it was great.
Hmm.
Um, the characters are all solidly written. Um, the relationships between the characters are established early on. Uh, the dynamic between the two male leads is established in that movie, and it's just perfect TV. It's just
Yeah,
one of the best episodes of TV ever written. And keep in mind, I'm including shows like Firefly and Star Trek and
right.
Buffy and all those others. And this one just hits all the right notes and is perfectly executed.
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
So
I agree
it's hard
completely.
to argue with that. And I think that's probably the last zombie reference you're going to get from me, unless something obscure pops into my head.
So I'm going to mention one and then maybe afterwards go into a couple other categories that I think are unusual,
Sure.
which even includes a movie I don't like. But another regular one is this is far from my favorite movie. It's not on my favorite movies list, although I like it a lot. Everybody at the time did, and that's Terminator 2.
Yeah, I
Um,
thought about including that one.
yeah, for me, I mean, the special effects were eye-opening. But for me, I was a big fan of the original, and the original was straightforward sci-fi, sort of action thriller with a real intensity to it. So Terminator 2 had a real emotionality to it that I was not expecting. I got
Yeah.
caught up in the emotional story of these characters all the way through to the end. Cameron did a really good job, and that was such a change from the original that it was I yeah, it was really quite a first time to see a movie experience. I was like, wow, I cared about that. I got verklempt at the end. What the hell? And this was Terminator. So that was a really good first experience for me that I would love to have again with it or something like it.
Yeah, that I think is probably James Cameron's most emotionally resonant movie, even including Titanic. I am not into Titanic. I don't think Titanic's a very good movie. I think it's kind of a movie about a transportation accident that is has a love story stapled onto it.
Yeah. I I I find it bloated and overrated, but I still liked it.
Yeah. Well, I was never one of these obsessed with Titanic guys anyway.
Yeah, me neither. It
It just
was
wasn't my thing. I have people who were like, and the funny thing is, the guys who did the big excavation of the Titanic was the underwater archaeology department at Texas A&M University.
right there.
And in the first few years of my graduate education, their offices were on the top floor of the building we were in.
Hmm.
So the underwater archaeology department at Texas A&M University was on the third floor of Bolton Hall, where I spent the vast majority of my time at A&M.
Oh, that's neato.
And
Cool.
so even despite the fact that they were there and they were actually setting up the original planning for the Titanic expedition while I was there, it just didn't get to me. I'm not a um one of these people who is obsessed with shipwrecks. They just don't do a
Yeah.
lot for me.
Yeah, that was peak Titanic. I mean, he really nailed the time. It wasn't just that the big movie was coming out. People were really into it then. It was
Yeah,
like,
they were all very, very interested in it. But yeah, that's fine.
yeah.
As French would say, à chacun son goût. But I'm not just not my thing. But you're right. Terminator 2 is the big. That's the one that showed that. Well, I don't know. You can say that a little bit about the movie Cameron did about aliens on the seafloor.
The Abyss.
Yeah, you can say that about The Abyss. There's a really emotional scene in that
Yeah,
movie where he's the main character um, has to go underwater and he's going to die probably.
right.
And he says goodbye to the female lead, and that's super emotionally resonant. But in
Yeah,
terms
but
of
there was no reason to not to expect that. You know what I mean?
right, right,
There
and
wasn't
if
an
you're talking
Abyss
about
one that
the
was totally different.
yeah, if you're talking about the bond between a boy and the cyborg, which is designed to protect him. Yeah, you're not expecting that kind of emotional
Yeah,
response.
not at all after the first one. Not
And
at
it was,
all.
and besides, I mean, I'll go on to say the revelation of the female character, the evolution of her from in kind of uh, from damsel into distress to all-time badass is great.
It sure was. It was
That
a
was amazing.
wild leap that worked.
Yeah, no, it really was. It was almost as big a wild leap as the Kirstie Alley as a female Vulcan officer.
Well
Yeah, well,
said.
that was one of the big things that was a huge thing in Star Trek when Kirstie Alley shows up as Savik.
Yeah, she was terrific.
She
And then
was
she jumps
terrific.
to Cheers, and you're like, what the heck is this?
Well, and even then, she knocked that role out of the park
She
too.
did. She did. Yeah, no.
So yeah,
Crazy.
you're right. Terminator's a good one. I'm going to shift things a little bit and get out of this kind of hard sci-fi, even horror movie orbit, and I'm going to take us up into kind of fantasy, science fiction, comic book, anime, video game, and you can probably figure that what I'm going to choose as my next movie I'd like to see for the
Heavens.
first time again, and that is
That's a list.
this movie does all of them simultaneously.
Anime?
Yeah,
Geez, I don't know. You got me.
Scott
That one threw me
Pilgrim.
for a loop. What was that?
Scott Pilgrim. Scott Pilgrim
Okay.
has elements of all of those different things,
Yeah, it's true. The
except for
anime
one.
threw me, but that's it. You're right.
But
It all
it's
fits.
in there.
I remember.
So yeah, I mean that is the best representation of popular culture of the year it was released. It really is. It has elements of every single thing you could possibly imagine. It's a great
Yeah.
film. It has elements of video games, elements of anime, elements of popular music, especially in that kind of Toronto independent music scene.
Yeah.
It's a terrific movie. And nobody really had any expectation that you had no way of knowing what it was going to be. You
Yeah.
just you had no idea this movie was going to be so
Well, that's because Edgar Wright was doing it, so who could tell, right?
yeah, well, yeah, of course. But even so, it was like it's different than his other movies too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's different
And
than
and
any other movie. I can't think of a movie to compare it to, honestly.
that's why I love it so much. It
Mhm.
is a unique thing. It is a genre of its own.
It is.
Well, because I mean, it's a coming of age movie. It's a sexual awakening movie. I mean, it's a lot of things wrapped up into one package.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the movie's really compelling visually.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah, a
it,
lot of money went into it, and you can tell, which was part of the disappointment when it just bombed.
well, I don't care if it bombed. I think it's one of the best movies made in the last 20 years.
Well, it's gotten a following after its run in the theater, but in its run in the theater, it was a huge financial disaster. But
I
it,
saw it
af
twice in the theater,
You did your
it's
part.
it's not my fault.
Yeah, I think I did too, actually.
Well, and the thing about that movie is okay, so as much as I love movies, I think it's a waste of money in most cases for me to buy them.
Hmm.
I bought that one. I own that one on physical media.
On physical media. Excellent. Excellent.
That's one of the ones I have on physical media because
Speaking of age again.
yeah. Well, no, that's all coming back now, by the way.
Physical media? Well, you mean more than vinyl? Well, vinyl may have had its second day. I'm not sure. I don't hear so much about vinyl anymore.
Oh, it's still out there. A lot of rock stars, people who are big in popular music now, they still have vinyl and they love it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I know it's
I
still
mean, well,
there.
you you've got vinyl. Excuse me. You've got vinyl in Target and Walmart.
I didn't realize that. That's funny.
Oh
I'm going to go
yeah.
searching for it now.
Well, it's not like it was before. It's not like every artist releases on vinyl.
Right.
But all the big names, they're all making vinyl releases.
Yep. All I knew it was back. I just wondered if we were peak vinyl round two, but maybe we're
I,
not.
I don't think so. Not if well, boy, have you gone into a used bookstore to buy vinyl?
Yeah, we have a used
Holy
vinyl
cow,
store
it's
here in town.
expensive.
Yeah, we have a
No,
used
I
record
used to be
store.
able to go. Sorry, we keep interrupting each other. It's my fault.
Oh, my
Uh,
bad.
we I used to go into Half Price Bookstore, which is a local chain. I think it might be national now, but it's a chain of half price music, DVDs, CDs, books, all that stuff.
Hmm.
You used to be able to walk in and buy any given album for $2 or $3.
Wow.
Now they're 15 and $20 beats.
Yep.
It's crazy. So I used to have a very large record collection. When I left Berea, I had 400 different albums.
Ooh.
I'm down to about 50 now.
Wow. Great purges in there, huh? Or you
No, no
just lost them.
purges. It's lost stuff that
How sad.
from in 1 year, I mean, in 5 years during graduate school, I moved 10 times and stuff just ended up getting lost. And then there was a flood at one of my storage sites and that took a bunch of them. So
Oh, it's sad. That's
it is
sad.
sad because there was so much good music I lost.
I
Luckily,
lost a ton of
I was
comic
able to
books
I was
also.
able to keep almost all of my Stones albums and all of my Pete Townsend solo stuff. So, all
Wow.
right, we're off the topic. It's your turn, I think.
All right. I'm going to go a little different route and tell you a movie that I didn't really like. That's going to piss people off that I don't like it because it's a beloved genre movie at least by most comics fans. But there's a reason why I would love to experience the first time again, and that's Unbreakable.
Yeah.
Bruce Willis, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. Um, I don't get fooled very much. Okay. I really don't. And having that experience, the ending, the big twist at the end, and what's been going on between the Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson
Uh-huh.
character, I did not see coming. And when it came up, my mind was blown. I was just like, holy shit. And so I used to tell people, I thought, most movies, or there are so many movies that are a great experience, but then the end leaves you kind of dry. This was I can't think of another movie where I had the opposite experience, where I was just sort of, yeah, whatever. Are we almost done yet? And then the ending gets me. Boom! It was a great experience. I would love to relive that experience of seeing that movie the first time and walking out with a big smile on my face, wondering what just happened. It was great.
Yeah. See, the thing is, I was ready to walk out. My brother and I looked at each other, and I think he actually stood up in the reveal scene with the weightlifting.
It was so dull.
Oh my God. It was not only was it dull, it was that David Fincher even the bright scenes in the film are muted colors,
Mm.
kind of dark.
Yeah, if you do that wrong, it puts you to sleep.
Oh my God. And then there's the sound of the rain, which is ever present throughout that entire movie. Dark and that white noise of the rain and the we're just going to talk in this low tone dialogue. And
Yeah, I would never recommend this movie. But
I would not recommend it until I saw the weightlifting scene. I was like, and the thing is, I went into it knowing what the idea was
yeah, me too.
for
Yeah,
the movie.
it
I
was out there.
knew they were making this movie to try to film what it would be like if superheroes actually occurred in real life. And
Hmm.
yet I still didn't see that there was any way possible Bruce Willis could be a superhero.
Mm. Just didn't work for you.
No, they just hadn't made the case.
Hmm.
And then bam, they made the case. And I was like, okay, I'm all in now. So, and to some extent, you see that a little bit with the movie which follows up.
Oh, uh, what was it? Demon or no, that was the one in the elevator. That was Devil. That
Yeah.
was totally different. The one with McAvoy in it, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, I can't think of what it's called, but
I'm looking
yeah,
it up.
and that created a Shyamalaniverse where they
Yes.
got them all together in
Split.
yeah, right.
Split. The split is what they call a stealth sequel.
Mhm. Right, because of the very end. Yeah, yeah.
Nobody had any idea it was a sequel until the very end when he shows up.
Hmm.
It's like, whoa. All right, now we know what part of movie what kind of thing this is. Now we know what he's doing. So, but yeah, I can see that. I can see wanting I want to appear as an avatar from the future and go, stick with it, stay here. It's going to get better.
Right.
Stick with it, stay with it. Don't get up yet. Stay
Yeah.
here.
It when all is said and done, it still may not be worth it to you. But it was worth it to me just for that one experience. I would never watch it again because I would fall asleep.
You have to fundamentally disagree. I think the payoff is worth it because the whole time that I was watching the movie, I was waiting for him to reveal how he was going to say, "Oh yeah, by the way, this is about superheroes." Because otherwise, it's just like a very low-key soap opera up until that weightlifting scene.
Huh.
Sad sack, Bruce Willis. Um, and why is this guy who deals in animation cells important? I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't have any idea how this is doing what it's supposed to be. Oh, that's how he's going to do it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think we had a fundamentally different experience in that movie.
Sounds pretty similar anyways.
Well, but I meant the conclusions we came to were different.
Yes, yes, definitely.
So
Oh well.
that's where our experience loses track as a common one. Okay. It's my turn.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dr. Strangelove.
Doctor Strangelove. That would be a fun movie to re-experience for the first time
Well,
again, wouldn't it?
I didn't see it on the big screen.
Hmm.
So the public TV station in Dallas was so cutting edge for so very long. It's KERA,
Hmm.
and KERA Public TV in Dallas is very, very famous for being the first public TV show, public uh, TV channel to get and show Monty Python.
Oh, yeah, I think you mentioned that before. I
So
remember that.
I was 11 years old when I first saw Monty Python. It first aired on KRA in the fall of 2000, the fall of 1975, 74. And the show was actually still in its original run in BBC. It was the last year of it. So we got the first year, the last year they were recording, and it was great. A whole bunch of the old movies, horror genre movies from the 30s and 40s I saw, and even the 20s. I saw Freaks on that TV show. I mean, on that TV channel, they broadcast The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, Nosferatu, The Shape of Things to Come, and the original. There's a silent version of that movie, um, Metropolis. Um, all those movies were shown.
Mhm.
One summer, KERA showed every Saturday night they showed a classic samurai film from Japan.
Oh, really? Cool. Cool
And
station.
yeah, it was amazing. And so that was the first time I saw Doctor Strangelove. And Doctor Strangelove starts out like kind of you can tell it's a little bit satire, but you think it's like it doesn't seem like it's really satire. For one thing, that was made long before George C. Scott was famous for Patton. I knew him for Patton, but he wasn't as famous when he made that movie. I think it came out in what, 67 or 68. Maybe in
Right.
six, it may have been 66.
I'm thinking 66 or something.
Hold on, let's look at it. But I mean, because I'm pretty, it was before George C. Scott was, just this household name.
It was 66 or 65.
Yeah, it might have been 64. Hold on.
But no, that's a great
64.
movie. 64. Okay.
And so here I'm watching this movie. It's got George C. Scott on it. Of course, he's playing a general, but it's kind of weird. It's kind of what is this movie? And then as it gets in more and more and more into it, with the all the scenes with the bomber crew, even though Slim Pickens is the pilot of the aircraft, you take it seriously. They're following all the procedures and they're going through the code, the verification codes for nuclear strike, and it looks like it's kind of going to be a war movie, but there's just something off about it. And then, boy, it goes way off the rails. And then you realize, oh, this is satire. And I don't know what year this was. This must have been 77 or 78. And I'm watching this movie and I am locked in, as the kids would say today. I am paying close attention to every detail. And that was one of James Earl Jones' early roles.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he plays the navigator in that.
Hmm. He doesn't have much to do, but it's still James Earl Jones.
Well, I mean, you recognize it. And I go,
Yep.
wow, yeah, that's Darth Vader's voice. So, yeah, and so it just what happens is you just see this thing. It's so uh you see that movie, and just by the lighting, all right, this is Stanley Kubrick. So it's got to be some weird take on whatever it's talking about. It
Mhm.
just gets more and more and more absurd, more and more and more ridiculous, and it's just perfect. It's just this is very much like Scott Pilgrim. There is nothing else like this movie,
Yeah.
and certainly not in 1964. The only other movie that occurs to me that this is like is The Manchurian Candidate from 62 or 60.
Yeah.
It's the only other kind of movie where things just end up completely ridiculous. And I think as a result, one of the things about both those movies, the Manchurian Candidate, the original version, and Doctor Strangelove, is I think those are both parents to movies like Apocalypse Now and Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah. Well, and that movie is where Kubrick really became Kubrick, isn't it? I mean, Paths
I
of
think so,
Glory was
yeah.
a fantastic movie. Spartacus, which is largely Kubrick, was a great movie. I've never seen Lolita, but it gets great reviews. But then
Lolita is a great movie.
you get
Gosh,
the
Lolita's
weird,
good.
but you get a weird, unique, personalized flavor, really, for the first time in Doctor
Yeah.
Strangelove. And it's like he's
Yeah.
arrived. He's
Yeah,
arrived.
his wry humor, his crazy lighting, his whole aesthetic. I'm trying to think if there's I don't think there's a character which does the Kubrick stare in that movie. which is one of the things that he is famous for.
Right.
But yeah, it's so very distinctly Kubrick, and I think that's you're right. That's where it all gels. It all becomes Kubrick in that, and that's it. But there is no other movie like that, which is why I really liked. That's why I would like to relive seeing that movie. Now,
Yeah,
obviously, I would much rather have seen it on the big screen rather than, a 20-inch TV.
sure.
But one of the best things about watching all those movies on that public TV station was it was only a black and white TV, and a lot of those movies are in black and white, so I wasn't missing anything.
Right. I got to see it on the big screen one time, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I got to see when The Godfather came out, it was in 1970, so I was 7 years old, and my parents wouldn't let me go see it. And so I had seen The Godfather mostly on cable TV, tiny little screens.
Hmm.
And then I guess it was probably 1998 or 1999. I was living close to Austin, and they have a revival theater in Austin, very much like the Kentucky Theater in Lexington.
Yep.
And it's actually now a part of a chain. It's the Alamo Draft House.
Hmm.
And I went and saw The Godfather on the big screen. And then I want to go again here in a minute because I want to talk about kind of uh, the experience. It's not necessarily seeing the movie that I want to relive, but it's the experience of that movie, kind of the context of that movie. And we'll do that after you do one. But
Right. Well, I'll give you a different kind, and that's the redo. I want another chance. I blew my chance to see it right. Okay. And so my redo, see for the first time. I want to see for the first time, The Empire Strikes Back. Okay. Because, of course, the big revelation got everybody. I am your father. Everybody was like, oh my God. And it was
not
such a big
me.
deal. Everybody loved it. Yeah, but most people were really into it.
No, no,
And
I'll tell you that story in a second because you inadvertently brought up what I want to talk about, which is The Empire Strikes Back.
oh, okay. Well, the problem is I read the novelization before the movie came out.
Yeah.
So I robbed myself of the first time seeing the movie experience. And I wish I could go back in time and tell my younger self to stop. Don't do it. Put the
Yeah,
book
stop
down.
reading that book.
Stop reading that book and go in and have the real first experience of this film because it's going to be a big one. And I blew it. So that's a little different, but I want the redo. I want the redo.
Okay, we're going to talk about Star Wars for a little bit longer because I've got a couple of redos I would like to have. So, The Empire Strikes Back is the redo that I want to have because uh, it came out in 81. And this was kind of the dying years of an old school theater here in Fort Worth called the Ridgely Theaters. This is one of the few theaters in Fort Worth. I don't know when it was built. It must have been the late 40s, early 50s, but it had a balcony when I was growing up. And I saw some of the best movies there ever. I was there on a date that I was a girl with a girl and that I was head over teacup in love with, as much as you can be when you're, 18 years old. And the movie was sold out and they didn't have enough seats for me and her. And so she said, well, I'll sit in your lap. I don't care. So we'll just give us that ticket and then I'll sit in his lap. And the theater went, okay. So the whole movie, this girl I was crazy in love with, and this wasn't, this was a fairly chaste kind of thing. And she was sitting in my lap the whole movie, and it was great. The movie was great. The experience was great. It was something, that I was sitting in the balcony of a theater, and we didn't know at the time was kind of on its last legs. And
Mhm.
the movie was spectacular. It's still, to me, the best Star Wars movie ever, even though if I were to choose between Star Wars and The Empire Strikes Back, if I could only really have one of those, it would be Star Wars.
Yeah.
But the whole Empire Strikes Back experience with my date sitting in my lap and I was just having a great time watching this movie and it's a pure popcorn movie.
Oh, yeah.
I would love to relive that. But Star Trek is one of those things that, oh, sorry,
Of
Star
course.
Wars.
Hmm.
I will tell you this, and no one believes me, but I have an eyewitness. And I may have mentioned this before, but I don't think so. So, the Christmas of 1977, after Star Wars was the giant hit, I walked into a B. Dalton bookseller at Hewlin Mall, which is about a year old at this point. This was a big event in my high school life, the opening of our first giant mall in our neighborhood. We were at B. Dalton bookseller, and I walked in, and they used to have paperback book sets. You get a set of 6 or 8 paperback books, and they'd come in a cardboard box. It was kind of a presentation box, and you would pull each one out, read it, and put it back in. 9 Star Wars books in a boxed set.
Mm.
You will never see those again.
The
Most
old
people
ones.
don't, most people don't believe that existed. But there was a box of 9 novelizations of Star Wars novels.
Ah,
And my
right.
friend will back me up to this day. He saw it too. Because I went and saw it, and then we went to the mall, I don't know, 2 or 3 days later, and I said, "You got to see this." And he's like, "There it is." And it's 1977, and I don't have a dime to my name.
Mm.
And I'm like, man, how can I get the money to buy that? I don't know. And when I went back a couple of weeks later, gone.
Mm, of course.
And we never saw it again. So there was a boxed set of 9 Star Wars books available in 1977. I guarantee it was there. I did
Wow.
not dream this. This is not a figment of my imagination. And I suspect George went around to all the book companies and said, can I have that back, please?
Interesting. Well,
Because it's out there. I guarantee you somebody owns it.
that one, the
Or, or,
one that
or is,
exists, somebody owns it.
well, if it was in one place, it was in more than one place.
One would think.
But yeah, somebody.
Or it's like Brigadoon or something.
Somebody somewhere it's sitting in a box in their storage unit and they've forgotten they have it. But I'm telling you, it existed. 9 Star Wars novelizations, all lined up in a little book, and I can actually even see the font it was in. But anyway, so that I have a lot of Star Wars related. I wish I could experience that again.
Yeah, I think,
Just
yeah.
the Star Wars movie was just kind of a perfect moment in time for me. I was 14 years old. I told you how I got the word about Star Wars, right?
I think so, but I'm
Went to a
not
Star Trek
recalling.
convention and they were passing out flyers.
Right.
And so
Tell
Star
me.
Wars and Star Trek have never been mutually exclusive to me because I found out about Star Wars because of a Star Trek convention. I met George Takei there. He was signing autographs.
No, that's awesome.
I wish I could find the picture because at the time I was fencing. I was learning how to fence. And I told him that, and he wrote "on guard" and then signed it. And I can't find that picture anywhere. But my friends who are big, big Star Trek fans, they went in uniform. They were so mad at me because I mentioned that to them, and they got best wishes or some other kind of silly thing written on it. But I got one that was more personal, and they were like, "God damn it!"
There you go. You won. You won
But
the
no, I mean,
convention.
I wasn't that much into Star Trek. That was the thing. I was just like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." But they were like, "Shut up." And then, but yeah, I found out about that way. But my sister worked at the theater where Star Wars was. So I saw it a large number of times, all for free.
That's
So
great. That's
it's
great.
it's just there was nothing like it. The special effects, and so you talk about how nobody knew Darth Vader was his father.
Hmm.
Well, I was a giant, I was raised on Greek mythology. And so when I saw the first movie, I was like, we came out of that movie and I told my friend Jim Wiley, I said, Jim, no, I guess I was with a different guy. I said, hey, Star Wars, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father. There's no way he's not his father. There is no way. Darth Vader is his father. Because I was like, having read so much mythology as a kid, I knew this was going to happen. Of course, this was going to happen. And nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. Nobody believed me. And then when I came out of Star Trek, I mean, when I came out of The Empire Strikes Back, my friends were like, "How did you know?" And I said, "I don't know. I just my brain just went. I saw that scene where they were fighting the in the at the very end of Star Wars, and I went, "There's no way that's not his dad. There is
Mm.
no way that's not his dad." So yes, people don't believe me about that, but those two things were true, and I would love to relive that moment where everybody went, and I went, "See, I told you."
I believe you.
Yeah, it
I do
just
it. I trust you. I believe you. I believe in you.
you sound like you're trying to convince yourself. All right, you got anything else for me?
Well, I got one more real quick one,
Okay.
just for the point of throwing out there. And this is an obvious one as to why, so I won't linger on it. And that's, another one that's not one of my favorite movies by any stretch of the imagination, but Tron. Tron.
Yeah.
You have that first experience with the CGI, the special effects, and it was like, damn, look at this. Little guys racing around and oh man, it was awesome. So I would love to have that experience again. It was I mean, I've certainly had other experiences where the cutting edge special effects have blown me away, like, we mentioned The Abyss or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Tron was something special that way. It was the first one that really did that for me. So
Yeah.
I mean, unless you count Star Wars, but that was a little different. But Tron, yeah.
Let's see. Is there anything left on my list? There's a couple of things. Oh, the last one I'm going to mention is one I mentioned a bunch, and that's Colossus.
Oh yeah, that is one of your favorite
And
movies.
and let me tell you why. So, you ever been in an argument with somebody or watched something, and your brain tells you, no way, this can't be right. No, it's not right. There's no way this is accurate. There's no way this is going to be a problem. There's no way these people are right about this. But, you know, back in the corner of your mind, there's this thing poking at you going, yeah, they're actually right. Yeah, this is really a possibility. Yeah, you're wrong here. Shut up and listen to. And that's what Colossus was. I was like, how could this be? How could we, what how could we let this kind of thing happen? Aren't we smart enough to figure this out? And I was like,
Nope.
yeah, this is not going to be good. This movie is telling the truth way ahead of time.
Yep.
And it's just one of those movies that you go, when I first saw it, I was pretty bothered by it. I would think about it before I went to bed late at night. I was like, God, what this might happen. This is a good possible. What are we going to? How are? Yeah, I mean, it really bothered me. So just one of those things where you're going, what? That, you know, it's like Plato's cave. You're watching these things on the wall, and they pull you out, and you're in the bright sunlight, and you're disoriented, and you don't know how things are going to work. And holy crap, what? How could they be right? Blah blah blah. And yeah, that was the effect of my watching Colossus. And so people are like, I think it's funny. There's this giant conspiracy theory now about Colossus,
No.
because when we first started talking about it on the podcast, you could watch it free on YouTube, no commercials,
Yeah, I think you still can.
no,
No,
it's
they pulled
gone.
it. Oh, that's a shame.
And so people are like, yeah, it's all the AI companies. They're pulling it because they don't want you to know what's coming, and they don't want you to think about this. And I'm like, no, they're not. They just found a way to monetize it.
Yeah, of
But
course.
they just found a way to get you to pay for it now. Luckily, I've seen it like 10 times for free. So yeah, that doesn't bother me. But yeah, Colossus is one of those movies that I would just like to watch over again. And I was maybe 12 or 13. And my brother said, "Oh, this is a really good movie. You should watch this." And so I watched it. And then I just thought of another one. It's the Quartermass and the Pit.
Ah, I love that one.
I saw that movie on TV like on a Saturday afternoon, and it just scared the hell out of me. And I thought about it for years and years and years and years after that.
I have a Quartermass in the Pit t-shirt, so I'm a big fan.
Oh, that's great. That's great. But the funny thing is, I've seen all those Quartermass in the Pit movies, and none of them are that good except that one.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, I never heard the old stuff, going back the old BBC stuff, but
No, nothing. It's nothing
mhm.
like that. They really hit all the high points for that movie.
Yeah, big fun. Yeah, that would be
I think we should
extremely.
redo this. I think we should do a second version of this. And I kind of cheated a little bit. I talked about TV, but there's a lot of TV things I'd like to see again.
Oh, I said some TV too. Yeah.
But I think we could expand it out and do a whole show on TV.
Yeah, okay. We should do it.
Yep.
All righty.
Okay.
Well,
Well, I
there
think
you go. We've
well,
got one for either next time or next time, and we will return to the topic. I think we're all set for the week. What do you think, Mark?
I think so too.
All
I
right,
hope
folks.
I hope everybody enjoys it, and we will talk to you guys next time.